Family doesn't demand money, Derek. Family supports each other. I stared at my boss Marcus across his glass desk. The desk that cost more than 3 months of my salary. In the office with the view. The office I'd helped him afford by working myself into the ground for 3 years. So that's a no on the raise? I asked. He leaned back in his leather chair, gave me that disappointed dad look he'd perfected. I'm just surprised you'd even ask, after everything we've done for you. Everything they'd done for me. I'd worked here for 3 years. Started as a junior developer at 25 with a salary of 55K. Now I was 28, making 65K and basically running the entire technical infrastructure of TechFlow Solutions single-handedly. But sure, everything they'd done for me. I've been here 3 years, I said calmly. I've built our entire backend. I manage deployments. I handle client integrations. I'm on call 24/7. Market rate for my position is 95,000. I'm asking for 85. Marcus sighed. Actually sighed. Like I'd asked him to donate a kidney. Derek, you're thinking like an employee. We need you thinking like a founder, like family. I'm not a founder. I don't have equity. Yet, we're planning a stock option program. You've been planning it for 2 years. These things take time, but when we IPO, if you IPO, his face hardened slightly. We gave you a chance when you had no experience. Do you remember that? I remembered. I remembered working 60-hour weeks as a junior developer while doing senior-level work. I remembered every weekend I'd spent fixing production bugs. Every vacation day I'd canceled because something was on fire. I remembered missing my girlfriend Emma's birthday because Marcus called with an emergency that could have waited until Monday. Missing my best friend's wedding because we had a critical deadline. Missing my own life. 3 years of 60 to 80-hour weeks. 3 years of being available 24/7. 3 years of just one more sprint, and we'll make it up to you later. Later never came. I do remember, I said, and I've more than paid back that chance. I'm asking for fair compensation. Fair? Marcus stood up, started pacing. His tell when he was about to launch into a speech. You want to know what's fair? Fair is that we trusted you with critical systems. Fair is that we believed in you. Fair is that we treated you like family. There it was again. Family. I'd heard it hundreds of times. When I asked about overtime pay, we're family, we all pitch in. When I mentioned burnout, family supports each other through tough times. When I tried to take a vacation, family doesn't abandon ship. Family was Marcus's favorite word, because family worked for guilt instead of money. Marcus, I appreciate the opportunities I've had here, but I need to be paid what I'm worth. What you're worth? He stopped pacing, looked at me like I'd slapped him. Derek, do you know how many developers would kill for your position, for the experience you're getting? Then hire one of them to replace me. Silence. The words hung in the air between us. His face went through several emotions in rapid succession. Shock, confusion, anger, then back to disappointed dad. You're quitting? Over money? I'm quitting because I asked for a reasonable raise and you made it about loyalty instead of value. I can't believe you'd do this to us, to the team, to me. I pulled an envelope from my pocket. I'd written it last night, after Emma had fallen asleep, after I'd spent another evening answering Slack messages instead of watching the movie we'd started. I set it on his expensive desk. 2 weeks' notice, effective today. Derek, I'll train Kevin as much as I can in 2 weeks. But honestly, Marcus, you should probably hire at least 2 people to replace me. Maybe 3. You're being dramatic. I'm being realistic. I've been doing the work of 3 people for the salary of 1. That's not sustainable. For me or for you. He sat back down. Picked up the envelope. Didn't open it. Just stared at it like it was a bomb. You'll regret this. Nobody else will appreciate you like we do. I almost laughed. Appreciate. They appreciated me so much they paid me 30% below market rate and expected 24/7 availability. We'll see. I walked out of his office. It was 2:47 p.m. on a Wednesday. Normally, I'd stay until at least 7 or 8, Fix whatever fires had started. Prep for tomorrow's deployment. Answer the inevitable quick question Slack messages that turned into hour-long debugging sessions. Not today. I went back to my desk. Kevin, the junior developer Marcus had hired 2 months ago, was typing frantically, headphones on. Jenna, our other developer, was in a meeting. Through the glass wall, I could see her nodding along to whatever the product manager was saying. I opened my laptop, started working through my task list. Nothing urgent, just normal Wednesday stuff. At 4:45 p.m., I saved everything. Started my shutdown routine. Kevin looked up. Heading out early. Actually heading out on time, for once. But don't we have that staging deploy at 6? We do. You should handle it. Me? But I've only done like 2 deploys and you supervised both. Good time to practice. The documentation is in the wiki. We have a wiki? I paused. No, we don't, actually. Then how do I figure it out? That's what I had to do. His face showed panic. Derek, I can't just... I felt a twinge of guilt. Kevin was a good kid. This wasn't his fault. Look, I said, I gave notice today. I'm working normal hours now. 9 to 5. If you need help with the deploy, ask me tomorrow morning. But it needs to go out tonight. Then Marcus should have hired more people, or paid me enough to keep working these hours. See you tomorrow, Kevin. I shut down my laptop, closed it, unplugged it. For the first time in 3 years, at exactly 5 p.m., I walked out of TechFlow Solutions. My phone buzzed before I reached my car. Marcus, we need to talk about this. I silenced it. Another buzz. Marcus, don't make any hasty decisions. Silenced. Marcus, think about the team. I turned off Slack notifications. Put my phone on, do not disturb. The drive home was surreal. It was still light out. There was no traffic because I wasn't leaving at 8 p.m. like usual. I actually caught green lights. Emma was in the kitchen when I walked in at 5:30. She was pulling vegetables from the fridge, hadn't started cooking yet. She literally froze when she saw me. What happened? Are you sick? I quit. The bell pepper fell from her hand, bounced on the counter. You what? I gave notice. 2 weeks, starting today. She came around the counter, stared at me like she was checking if I was real. Derek, what happened? I told her everything. The meeting with Marcus, the raise request, the family doesn't demand money speech, the notice. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Then she hugged me. Hard. The kind of hug that said things words couldn't. I'm so proud of you. Really? She pulled back. Her eyes were wet. Derek, you've been miserable for a year, working every weekend, missing dinners, missing life. I was starting to forget what you looked like when you weren't exhausted. I didn't realize it was that obvious. It was that obvious. You fell asleep during a movie last week, at 7 p.m., before the opening credits finished. I remembered that. Barely. I'd been up until 3 a.m. the night before fixing a production bug. I thought I was handling it. You were surviving it. That's different. She squeezed my hands. Do you have something else lined up? Yeah, DataSync Inc. They reached out last month on LinkedIn. I've been interviewing. And? They offered me $110,000, plus bonus, 40-hour weeks maximum. They actually have documentation requirements, real work-life balance policies. Derek, she smiled. Actually smiled. The real one I hadn't seen in months. That's amazing. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to jinx it, and part of me thought, maybe Marcus would come through. Maybe I was wrong about everything. But you weren't. No, I wasn't. We made dinner together. Actually made it together, not me showing up at 9 p.m. to eat whatever she'd saved for me. We talked. About her day. She was a physical therapist, had her own stories about difficult clients and workplace drama. About my day, about plans. Real plans. For weekends. For evenings. For a life that existed outside of TechFlow. It felt foreign. Good, but foreign. Like I'd forgotten what normal felt like. Around 8 p.m., my phone started vibrating. I'd left it on the counter, face down, but I could see the screen lighting up. Again, again, again. Emma glanced at it. You going to check that? I looked at the phone, at the lights flashing like an alarm. Thought about 3 years of dropping everything. Every dinner, every plan, every moment. For what? For a company that called me family but paid me like an intern? No. No? Whatever it is, it can wait until tomorrow. The phone kept buzzing. I flipped it over. Saw the notifications. Marcus. Critical bug in production. Need you ASAP. Marcus. Client portal is down. How fast can you get online? Marcus. Derek, this is urgent. Call me now. Jenna. Hey, Marcus is freaking out. There's some production issue. He's looking for you? Kevin. Derek. I'm so sorry, I think I broke something with the deploy. Marcus is furious. Can you help? I set the phone back down. Face down. Silent. Production issue? Emma asked. Yep. What are you going to do? I thought about it. About every time I'd dropped everything. Every plan I'd canceled. Every boundary I'd let them cross because it's an emergency. About Marcus saying, family doesn't demand money, 8 hours ago. Nothing. Nothing? It's 8 p.m. I'm off the clock. I gave notice today. I'm not their on-call developer anymore. But the client portal? Marcus has other developers. He has documentation. Well, no, actually he doesn't have documentation because he never gave me time to write it. But that's his problem now. Emma studied my face. You're serious? Completely serious. Who are you and what did you do with my boyfriend? I laughed. Actually laughed. I'm the version of your boyfriend who remembers he has a life. The phone buzzed again. And again. And again. I turned it completely off. We finished dinner, cleaned up together, started a movie, an entire movie, start to finish. No interruptions. When the credits rolled, Emma turned to me. How do you feel? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Lighter. Like I've been carrying something heavy for so long I forgot it was there, and now it's gone. Good. She curled into my side. You deserve to feel light. We went to bed at a reasonable hour. Not 2 a.m. after a production fire. Not midnight after just one more bug fix. 10:30 p.m., like normal people. I lay there in the dark, Emma asleep beside me. My phone was off. Silent. No buzzing. No notifications. No emergencies. For the first time in 3 years, I wasn't on call. And tomorrow? Tomorrow I'd walk into TechFlow at 9 a.m., work exactly 8 hours, and walk out at 5 p.m. for 13 more days. Then I'd be done. The thought should have scared me, should have felt like falling. Instead, it felt like flying. I fell asleep with a smile on my face. Tomorrow was going to be interesting. I walked into the office at 9 a.m. sharp. The atmosphere was wrong, tense, like everyone was waiting for something bad to happen. Kevin looked like he hadn't slept. His eyes were red, hair sticking up at odd angles. He was hunched over his laptop like it had personally betrayed him. Jenna was stress-eating M&Ms from a bag the size of her head. Marcus's office door was closed, but I could hear his voice through the glass. Angry, defensive. I made coffee, sat at my desk, opened my laptop like it was any other Thursday. Kevin appeared beside me before I'd even logged in. Derek. Oh, thank God. I need your help. Morning, Kevin. How'd the deploy go? His face crumpled. It didn't. I mean, it did. But then everything broke. The client portal went down. Authentication stopped working. 3 different clients called screaming. That's rough. Marcus and I were here until 3 a.m. trying to fix it. We got it mostly working, but I think I made other things worse. Probably, he blinked. That's it? That's all you're going to say? Kevin, I told you yesterday I'd help you this morning. It's now morning. Show me what you did. He pulled up his terminal. I looked at the deploy logs. Okay, first problem. You deployed to production instead of staging. What? No, I used the deploy script you showed me. That script deploys to production. The staging script is different. Why are they different scripts? Because Marcus said maintaining one script that could deploy to multiple environments was over-engineering. Kevin stared at me. So instead of one flexible script, you have multiple separate scripts that do almost the same thing? Correct. That's insane. Welcome to TechFlow. I walked him through rolling back the deploy. Fixed the authentication issue. He'd accidentally overwritten the environment variables. Got the client portal back up. Took about 45 minutes. Kevin looked relieved and exhausted, and like he was questioning all his life choices. Thanks, Derek. I don't know what I would have done without you. You would have figured it out eventually, or Marcus would have paid someone to fix it. Marcus doesn't want to pay for anything. He said we should leverage our internal resources. I'm sure he did. Marcus's door opened. He came straight to my desk. Derek, my office, now. I followed him in. He closed the door. Hard. Where were you last night? Home, watching a movie. We had a critical production bug. The client portal was down for 4 hours. I heard, Kevin told me. You didn't answer any of my messages. Correct. Do you understand what that cost us? 3 clients called threatening to leave. We had to give one of them a month of free service to keep them. That's unfortunate. He stared at me. That's unfortunate? That's all you have to say? Marcus, I gave notice yesterday. I'm working normal business hours now. 9 to 5. If there are emergencies outside those hours, you'll need to handle them with your other resources. You are our other resources. You're the only one who knows how everything works. Then maybe that's the problem. What's that supposed to mean? It means you built a company that depends entirely on one person working 80-hour weeks. That's not sustainable. That's a disaster waiting to happen. We're a startup. Everyone has to wear multiple hats. I've been wearing the entire hat store for 3 years, at 30% below market rate, while you told me family doesn't demand money. His face flushed. I was trying to explain our cash flow situation. You were trying to guilt me into accepting less than I'm worth. And it worked. For 3 years. It doesn't work anymore. So what now? You're just going to let the company burn? I'm going to work my contracted hours, train Kevin as much as possible, and leave in 12 days. What happens after that is your problem. This is incredibly unprofessional, I almost laughed. Unprofessional is expecting 24/7 availability without appropriate compensation. Unprofessional is building critical systems with no documentation because you're too cheap to give me time to write it. Unprofessional is calling someone family while paying them like an intern. I offered to talk about the raise after I quit. That's not an offer, Marcus, that's panic. He sat down, rubbed his face. He looked 10 years older than yesterday. Derek, please, can we start over? Can we negotiate? No. Why not? Because yesterday you had the chance to treat me fairly, to value my work. Instead, you made me feel guilty for asking. That told me everything I need to know. People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern. 3 years of underpaying me, overworking me, and calling it family. I stood up. Now if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. And at 5 p.m. I'm leaving, whether things are on fire or not. I walked out. Jenna rolled her chair over as soon as I sat down. You okay? That looked intense. I'm fine. How are you doing? Honestly, questioning everything? She lowered her voice. I was here until midnight helping with the production fire. Marcus kept saying it was all hands on deck. But like, I'm salaried. I don't get paid extra for that. No, you don't. And this morning he sent a Slack message about commitment and startup culture and how we all need to step up with you leaving. Let me guess, he's not offering to pay anyone more to step up? Nope, just more guilt about being team players. Sounds about right. She was quiet for a moment. Can I ask you something? Sure. How did you do it? Work like that for 3 years? I thought about it. I didn't have a choice, or I thought I didn't. I was junior when I started. I thought this was normal. That if I just worked hard enough, proved myself enough, eventually it would get better. But it didn't. No, it just got expected. Marcus got used to me solving every problem, handling every emergency, working every weekend. It became the baseline. And when you asked for fair compensation, he made it about loyalty instead of value. Jenna looked at her screen, at the Slack notifications, at her calendar full of meetings. Huh. What? Nothing, just thinking. Around 11 a.m., I was deep in code when Kevin appeared again. Hey, Derek, I'm trying to understand the big tech integration. Can you walk me through it? Sure. I pulled up the codebase. Okay, so this integration is custom built for their data pipeline. It pulls from 3 different sources, normalizes the data, and pushes to their warehouse. Is there documentation? No. Tests? Also no. Comments in the code? Some, from 2 years ago. Half of them are wrong now. Kevin looked like he might cry. How does anyone maintain this? They don't. I maintain it. Or I did. But I'm supposed to take this over? That's the idea. Derek, I don't mean to be dramatic, but this is impossible. There's no documentation anywhere. Everything is custom built. Nothing has tests. It's like the entire company is held together by you knowing things. Yes, that's not sustainable. I've been saying that for 2 years. What did Marcus say? That documentation was a nice to have, but shipping features was priority. That we'd get to it eventually. But you never got to it. Because there was always something more urgent. Some client emergency, some new feature Marcus had promised without consulting engineering. Kevin sat back. I'm starting to understand why you quit. Yeah? This place is a disaster waiting to happen, and you were the only thing preventing it. Correct. And now you're leaving in 12 days. 11 and a half. Oh my God, we're screwed. You personally? Or the company? Both? I don't know. I've only been here 2 months. I don't even know half of what you built. To be fair, Marcus doesn't know half of what I built either. Jenna rolled over. I heard my name. What's happening? Derek's explaining that nothing is documented and we're all going to die, Kevin said. Ah, cool. I figured. You figured? Kevin looked at her. Kevin, I've been here a year. I've watched Derek handle every single production emergency, every integration issue, every weird bug. If he's not here, she shrugged, we're toast. Has anyone told Marcus this? Derek probably has, multiple times. Marcus doesn't listen. I nodded. I tried to hire more people last year. Marcus said we couldn't afford it. But he can afford this office? Jenna gestured at the exposed brick, the fancy coffee machine, the standing desks. Appearances matter to Marcus. Paying people fairly doesn't. We sat in silence for a moment. So what do we do? Kevin asked. You? I said. You learn as much as you can in 11 days. You take notes, you ask questions, and then you update your LinkedIn and start interviewing. Seriously? Kevin, they're going to expect you to do my job, for your salary, which I'm guessing is maybe 60,000? 55. They're going to expect you to do a $110,000 job for 55,000, and they'll call it growth opportunity and stepping up. Jenna cursed under her breath. He's right. That's exactly what they'll do. What about you? Kevin asked her. Me? I'm thinking, really hard. At 5 p.m. I saved my work and shut down. Kevin was still working. So was Jenna. So were most of the engineers. Leaving? Marcus called from his office. Not quite accusatory, not quite neutral. Yep, see you tomorrow. We have the big tech integration call at 7. Then you should get on it at 7. I'll be unavailable. Derek. 11 more days, Marcus. Get used to it. I walked out. My phone started buzzing around 6:30. Marcus. Big Tech is asking technical questions on the call. Need you here. They're threatening to escalate to their CTO. This is serious. Derek, you're going to cost us this account. I was at dinner with Emma. Real restaurant. We'd been planning it for a week and I'd actually made it. Work? She asked. Yep, another emergency. You going to answer? I looked at my phone. At Marcus's messages. At the familiar guilt trying to creep in. then at Emma, at the menu, at the normal life I'd forgotten existed. No? You sure? Completely. More messages came in. Marcus, this is a 500K annual contract. Don't do this. Marcus, I'm begging you. Just one call. 1 hour. Marcus, name your price. I showed Emma the last message. Name your price? She raised her eyebrows. Is he serious? Apparently. What are you going to say? I thought about it. About 3 years of free overtime. About every weekend I'd lost. About every plan I'd canceled. About family doesn't demand money. I typed slowly. Me. My consulting rate is 300 hour, 10-hour minimum, paid up front. If you want me on a call, Venmo me $3,000 before the call starts. Otherwise, figure it out yourself. Hit send. $3,000? Emma said. For one call? It's not one call. It's 3 years of unpaid overtime. This is just the down payment. He won't pay it. Probably not. We went back to our menus. Ordered. Talked about her day. She'd helped a patient walk for the first time after a surgery. About weekend plans. About normal things. At 6:54 p.m. my phone buzzed. Venmo notification. Marcus Brennan paid you $3,000. Emma and I stared at my phone. Holy crap, she whispered. He paid. He actually paid. At 6:58 p.m. I joined the big tech call. There were 12 people on it. Their VP of engineering, their director of data. Marcus, looking haggard. Kevin, looking terrified. Derek, Marcus's relief was visible. Thank you for joining. You paid for my time. I'm here. The big tech VP jumped in. Derek, we're having issues with the data pipeline. The normalization isn't working correctly and it's causing downstream problems. When did it start? Last night after a deploy. I looked at Kevin. He looked like he wanted to disappear. Kevin, did you deploy to production last night? Yes, but I thought, pull up the deployment logs. He did. I spotted the issue in 30 seconds. Okay, you deployed an old version of the normalization script, the one from 3 months ago. It's incompatible with the current data schema. How do I fix it? Roll back to the previous version, not the one you deployed, the one before that. Which one is that? Check Git history. Look for commit hash 7A3F5B9. Kevin scrambled. The big tech team waited. Found it. Deploying now. 2 minutes later. It's working. The big tech VP nodded. Good. Derek, we'd like to schedule a technical review next week. We need to ensure this kind of issue doesn't happen again. I won't be here next week. I've given notice. Silence on the call. You're leaving? In 11 days. Who's taking over the integration? Kevin. They looked at Kevin. Kevin looked like a deer in headlights. Has Kevin been trained on all the systems? We're working on it. More silence. The uncomfortable kind. TechFlow, we need to discuss this offline, the VP said. We'll schedule a follow-up. The call ended. Marcus immediately called me. I answered. Derek, thank you. That could have been a disaster. It was a disaster. I just fixed it. Can we talk about you staying? I'll match whatever you were offered, plus equity, plus... No? You didn't even let me finish? Marcus, you just paid me $3,000 for a 47-minute call because you're desperate. Yesterday, you told me family doesn't demand money. Do you see the problem? I was wrong. I admit it. You were wrong, and you had 3 years to be right. I'm done. I hung up. Emma was watching me. How'd it go? Fixed their problem in 47 minutes, made $3,000, got offered a raise in equity. And I said no. She smiled. I'm proud of you. Me too. We finished dinner, drove home. No phone calls, no emergencies, no guilt. Just a normal Thursday evening. With $3,000 in my account that used to be Marcus's, and 11 more days until I was free. Things were about to get very interesting at TechFlow, and for the first time in 3 years, I was going to watch it happen from the outside. Friday morning, day 3 of my notice. I walked in at 9 a.m. to find Marcus in an emergency meeting with the leadership team. Through the glass walls, I could see him gesturing frantically while the VP of sales looked grim. Kevin was at his desk, staring at his screen like it contained the secrets of the universe. Jenna wasn't there yet. I made coffee, sat down, opened my laptop. At 9:23, Marcus's meeting ended. He came straight to my desk. Big Tech wants a call at 10. Okay, they're bringing their CTO. Sounds serious. Derek, he lowered his voice. I need you on this call. They're spooked about you leaving. I can be on the call during business hours, which this is. I mean, I need you to reassure them. Tell them the transition will be smooth. Will it be? What? Will the transition be smooth? Kevin's been here 2 months. He didn't know we had separate deploy scripts. He's never touched half the systems I built. Will it actually be smooth? Marcus's jaw tightened. We'll make it work. That's not reassuring, Marcus. That's hoping. Just, please, be professional on this call. I'm always professional. I show up. I do my job. I leave at 5. Very professional. He walked away without responding. At 10 a.m., the big tech call started. Their CTO was a woman named Sarah Chen. She had the look of someone who'd seen every kind of vendor disaster and had zero patience for any of them. Let's cut to the chase, she opened. Derek, you're leaving in what, 10 days? 11. And Kevin is taking over the integration? That's the plan. Kevin, how much experience do you have with enterprise data pipelines? Kevin looked like he wanted to climb through the screen and escape. Some? I worked on a smaller pipeline at my last job. How many records per day? About 50,000? We're processing 20 million records per day through your integration. That's 400 times your previous experience. Silence. Derek, Sarah continued, how long did it take you to build this integration? About 6 months, full-time. And how long have you been maintaining it? 2 years. So you have 2.5 years of deep knowledge about our specific needs, our data formats, our edge cases. And Kevin has 2 days, Kevin said quietly. Sarah looked at Marcus. Marcus, help me understand how this transition is going to work. Marcus launched into a speech about knowledge transfer and documentation and sustainable processes. Sarah cut him off. Is there documentation? We're working on. Is there documentation right now? Today? Not comprehensive documentation, but so no. She turned to me. Derek, if you left today, could Kevin run this integration? I thought about lying, about being diplomatic, but I was done lying for TechFlow. No. Could anyone? No? How many systems did you build that have this same problem? Most of them. Sarah sat back. Marcus, I'm going to be direct. We pay you $500,000 annually. A significant portion of that value is this integration Derek built. If Derek leaves and the integration fails, we're terminating the contract. Sarah, I assure you, I don't want assurances. I want a plan, a real one, with timelines and deliverables and redundancy. We'll have that to you by Monday. You have until end of business today. If I don't see a credible transition plan by 5 p.m., we're putting the contract on hold pending review. The call ended. Marcus sat frozen for a moment, then exploded. Derek, do you realize what you just did? Answered honestly? You told our biggest client we're going to fail. No, I told them the truth. There's a difference. You could have lied. You could have said it would be fine. And when it wasn't fine, when the integration broke and Kevin couldn't fix it, that would be better? We could have dealt with that later. That's your entire business model, isn't it? Deal with it later. Promise now. Scramble later. Hope Derek will fix it. That's not fair. It's completely fair. You built a company on my unpaid overtime and called it startup culture. He looked at Kevin. Can you do this? Can you handle the big tech integration? Kevin looked terrified. I can try. But Derek's right. I don't know half of what he built. And there's no documentation, and I've been here 2 months. So that's a no. That's a probably not without a lot of help. Marcus turned back to me. Derek, please. I'll pay you whatever you want. Consultant rate, 300 an hour, 500. Name your price. No. Why not? Because this is your mess, Marcus. You created it by underpaying me, overworking me, and refusing to invest in documentation or additional staff. I'm not going to bail you out anymore. So you're just going to let the company die? I'm going to finish my notice period and leave. What happens after that is on you. I went back to my desk. At 10:47, Jenna finally arrived. She looked rough, tired, like she'd been up all night. She dropped her bag, sat down, stared at her screen. You okay? I asked. No, I was up until 2 a.m. fixing bugs. Then Marcus texted me at 6 a.m. about the big tech call. I'm exhausted. Why were you fixing bugs at 2 a.m.? Because Marcus said it was urgent, that we needed them fixed before the weekend. Did you get paid for those hours? I'm salaried. That's not what I asked. She was quiet for a moment. No, I didn't get paid. And you're making what? 70,000? 65. Market rate for your experience is about 90. She looked at me. How do you know that? I looked it up. Before I quit. I looked up everyone's market rates. Why? Because I wanted to see if it was just me. It's not. Marcus underpays everyone and compensates with guilt. Jenna pulled up her laptop, started typing. I saw her open a salary comparison site. Oh my God, she whispered after a moment. Yeah? I'm 25,000 below market. Yep. And I've been working 60-hour weeks for 2 years thinking this was normal. Also, yep. She closed her laptop, looked at the office, at Marcus's door, at Kevin, who was frantically trying to understand a code base built over 3 years. I'm giving notice, she said. What? I'm giving notice. Today. Right now. Jenna. No, you're right. This place is a disaster. Marcus underpays us and guilts us into working free overtime. Nothing is documented. Everything depends on you, and you're leaving. What are you going to do? I have a friend at DataSync. She's been telling me to apply for months. I'm going to call her right now. DataSync? That's where I'm going. She smiled. Even better. Can I use you as a reference? Absolutely. At 11:15, Jenna walked into Marcus's office. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I could see Marcus's face go from confusion to shock to anger to panic in about 30 seconds. She walked out 5 minutes later with a printed resignation letter. Marcus followed her out. Jenna, please, let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. I'm underpaid and overworked. You told me it was startup life. Turns out it's just exploitation. I can give you a raise. You mean like you offered Derek after he quit? No thanks. I'd rather work somewhere that pays fairly from the start. You're abandoning the team. No, Marcus. You abandoned the team by paying us below market and expecting us to work ourselves to death for equity that will probably never materialize. She sat back down, started packing her stuff. Kevin watched this unfold with wide eyes. Is everyone quitting? He asked. Seems like it, I said. Should I quit? Do you have another job lined up? No. Then maybe wait until you do. But yes, probably update your LinkedIn today. This is insane. This is what happens when you build a company on guilt instead of fair compensation. By noon, the whole office knew. Jenna was leaving. I was leaving. Marcus was panicking. The VP of sales quit at 1:30, said she was tired of making promises to clients that engineering can't keep. At 2:15, Marcus called an all-hands meeting. Everyone crammed into the main conference room. About 30 people total. Marcus stood at the front, looking like he'd aged 5 years in one day. I know there's been some uncertainty lately, some changes to the team. Someone snorted. I think it was Jenna. I want to assure everyone that TechFlow is strong. We're growing. We're resilient. And yes, we're going to miss Derek and Jenna, but this is also an opportunity. An opportunity for what? Someone called out. For others to step up, to take on more responsibility, to grow. Are you going to pay us more for that responsibility? Jenna asked. Marcus's smile faltered. We're a startup. We all have to make sacrifices. You mean we have to make sacrifices? Your salary is what, 200,000? That's not. You drive a Tesla. You have the corner office. You expense every meal. But we're supposed to work free overtime and be grateful? The room was silent, everyone watching. Jenna, this isn't the time. When is the time, Marcus? When is the right time to talk about how you underpay everyone and call it startup culture? When is the right time to mention that Derek built this entire company and you paid him $65,000 while the market rate was 95? People started whispering, pulling out phones, probably looking up their own market rates. Marcus's face was red. This meeting is over. Yeah, Jenna said, standing up. It is. She walked out. Half the room followed her. At 4:30, an email went out from Big Tech. After review, we are suspending our contract with TechFlow pending resolution of technical leadership concerns. Effective immediately. $500,000. Gone. Marcus's door stayed closed for the rest of the day. At 5 p.m. exactly, I shut down my laptop. Kevin was still there, so were a few others. But the office felt different. Empty. Like everyone was already planning their escape. See you Monday, I said. Kevin looked up. Derek? Is the company going to survive this? I thought about it. About the lost contract, the fleeing employees, the non-existent documentation. Probably not. What should I do? Start applying to jobs. Tonight. Don't wait. But I've only been here 2 months. And you're about to be asked to do 3 people's jobs for 1 salary. Trust me, leave. I walked out. My phone buzzed on the drive home. Marcus, we need to talk about extending your notice. I'll triple your salary, please. Derek, I'm begging you. Don't do this to us. I didn't respond, because I wasn't doing anything to them. They'd done it to themselves, and I was just the first person to stop catching the pieces. When I got home, Emma had wine ready. How was your day? Jenna quit. Big Tech suspended their contract. The VP of sales quit. Marcus is panicking. Pretty good, actually, she laughed. You're enjoying this. A little bit. Is that bad? After 3 years of exploitation? No, that's karma. We clinked glasses. 8 more days, I said. 8 more days until you're free. 8 more days until they realize what they lost. And honestly, I couldn't wait. My last week at TechFlow was surreal. Monday, 2 more developers gave notice. Tuesday, a client called screaming about a broken integration. Nobody knew how to fix it. I was in meetings all day. Wednesday, Marcus offered me equity. Real equity this time. 10% of the company. I laughed and said no. Thursday, Kevin gave his notice. He'd gotten an offer from a competitor. They were paying him $75,000, $20,000 more than TechFlow. Derek was right, he told Marcus. I'm not doing 3 jobs for 1 salary. Friday, my last day. I came in at 9 a.m., worked on documentation. Not comprehensive documentation. That would take months. Just enough so I didn't feel completely guilty. At 4:30 p.m., Marcus appeared at my desk. So that's it? You're really leaving? Yep. I could still match data sync. Whatever they're paying, I'll beat it. Marcus, yesterday you couldn't afford to pay market rates. Today you can beat 110? Where's this money coming from? I'd figure it out. That's the problem. You'd figure it out. You'd scramble. You'd promise equity that might never materialize. I'm done with promises. He was quiet for a moment. I didn't think you'd actually leave. Why not? Because you cared. About the code. About the systems. About making things work. I did care. That's why I stayed for 3 years while you underpaid me. But caring doesn't pay rent. And it definitely doesn't compensate for 60-hour weeks. I'm sorry for all of it. Okay? Just okay? Marcus, you're sorry because I'm leaving and the company's falling apart. If Big Tech hadn't suspended the contract, if Jenna hadn't quit, you wouldn't be sorry. You'd still be telling me family doesn't demand money. He didn't argue. Couldn't argue. At 5 p.m. exactly, I shut down my laptop for the last time, packed my desk, my coffee mug, the weird rubber duck someone had given me. Jenna came over. You did it. You actually escaped. So did you. DataSync called me for a reference yesterday. And? I told them you're brilliant and they'd be lucky to have you. She hugged me. See you there in 2 weeks. I walked out of TechFlow Solutions at 5:13 p.m. on a Friday. Didn't look back. Monday morning, I started at DataSync. The office was nice, not startup fancy, just professional, clean. Tom from HR walked me through orientation. Standard hours are 9 to 5. If you need to work late for any reason, you submit the overtime and get paid for it. Paid overtime for salaried employees? Of course, we value your time. Huh. If you're sick, you're sick. Don't work. We have unlimited sick days. Unlimited? You're an adult. We trust you not to abuse it. And honestly, most people use fewer sick days when they're not tracked. This is wild, Tom laughed. Derek, you came from a startup. Things are different here. We believe in work-life balance, not as a buzzword, as actual policy. My first week was onboarding, learning their systems, meeting the team, all of it during normal business hours. No late-night emergencies, no weekend deploys, no guilt. At 5 p.m. every day, people left. Just left. Without apology or explanation. And nobody acted like it was weird. By week 2, Jenna started. We got lunch together. This place is insane, she said. My manager asked me if I needed anything to be successful. Not, can you work this weekend? Just, what do you need? I know, it's like a functional workplace. Is this what normal companies are like? Apparently. I wasted 2 years at TechFlow. We both did. No regrets, though? I thought about it. None. I learned what I'm worth. And what I won't tolerate. 3 months after I left, I got a LinkedIn message from Kevin. Dude, TechFlow is imploding. 2 more clients left. They're down to like 15 employees. Marcus is trying to sell the company, but nobody wants it. Just thought you should know. I showed Emma. How do you feel? She asked. Fine, is that bad? No, that's healthy. 6 months after I left, I was at the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon. I was in the cereal aisle, debating between 2 brands, when I heard my name. Derek? I turned. Marcus. He looked rough. Tired. Older. The Tesla was probably gone. He was carrying a basket with frozen dinners. Marcus. Hi. How are you? Good. Really good, actually. That's great. He seemed like he wanted to say more. Couldn't figure out how. How's TechFlow? I asked. We had to downsize, lost a few more clients after you left, trying to rebuild. I heard, Kevin mentioned it. Kevin's at DataSync too? Yeah, doing great there. Marcus looked at his basket. At my cart with fresh vegetables and actual food. At the distance between who we were now. I should have paid you fairly, he said finally. I should have listened. Yeah, you should have. Would it have made a difference if I'd given you the raise when you asked? I thought about it honestly. Maybe, if it had come with actual changes, better work-life balance, more staff, documentation time. But just the money? Probably not. Because the problem wasn't just the salary, it was the culture. He nodded slowly. I thought I was building a family. You were building a company, Marcus. Companies need fair pay and boundaries. Families need respect and reciprocity. You had neither. I know that now. Good. Maybe your next company will be better. If there is one. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. I should go, I said. Emma's waiting. Yeah, of course. He paused. For what it's worth, Derek, you were the best developer I ever worked with. Thanks. You just figured that out a year too late. I walked past him to the checkout. Didn't look back. That night, Emma and I made dinner together. Actual dinner, with vegetables and spices and thyme. Ran into Marcus today, I said while chopping onions. How was that? Weird. He apologized, said I was the best developer he ever had. What did you say? That he figured it out too late? She smiled. I'm proud of you. For leaving. For knowing your worth. Me too. My phone buzzed. Work email. I glanced at it. Promotion offer. Senior engineer. 130K base plus bonus. 6 months at DataSync. Already making more than I would have made at TechFlow after 5 years. I showed Emma. You're taking it, right? Obviously. We finished cooking. Ate on the couch. Watched a movie start to finish. At 9 p.m. my laptop was closed. My phone was silent. My weekend was actually a weekend. And somewhere across town, Marcus was probably working late, trying to save a company built on exploitation and guilt. But that wasn't my problem anymore. I'd learned what I was worth. And I'd learned that family doesn't demand money. Real family, the kind worth having, demands respect. Everything else is just a job. And jobs should pay fairly. Or you walk away. Simple as that.